in a few seconds. Well, we're already live. We're already live. Hi, Twitch. Hey, guys. Resident Sleeper. I'm just going to keep shouting out just random emotes. We're actually going to go to iBUYPOWER Cosmic. I keep wanting to say Cosmic Aftershock again. We're going to go back to iBUYPOWER Cosmic, and it's actually going to be the losers bracket first round against Titanium Ricochet. This poses to be a pretty interesting match, considering Titanium Ricochet's playstyle is basically the same as iBUYPOWER's. I'm curious to see how this game plays out. So we're actually going to start this match off looking at Classics, who is arguably kind of the anchor for Titanium Ricochet. Waze 1, who is the only Battle Cars vet on this team, is kind of there as their Gibbs. They're kind of the Gibbs of Titanium Ricochet. But Classics is this really, really good player who kind of came out of nowhere. Was on the Nice Shot podcast with myself and Seismic White a few weeks ago, but has a really, really good head for the game and poses to be a like Marky Doodah level of very good, consistent player.
Yeah, consistency is a very important factor. You know, it's something that even the really top-tier players tend to have a difficulty with, is consistency. So, yeah, consistent performance is good. And yeah, I've, you know, again, Titanium Ricochet being an NA team, I don't get the exposure to them that I would probably like. This is certainly one of my first times getting to cast them. I have cast them before, but one of the few times, you know. So it's good to see them kind of involved here, and this is going to be a good chance as well for Cosmic to figure out their approach, because they might have had like what I mentioned previously of, okay, Sad Jr. is going to step up in the striker role, Kyle's going to step up into that playmaker role, Gibbs is going to be Gibbs. Maybe that's the way they went into it. Oh, and there's
Classics with a goal. So that is, we're going to keep a look at it again because we didn't get a chance to kind of talk about it as it happened, but Moses knocking it down. Sad hit it, had a chance to react to it, but it coming down on top of Sad that quickly, Classics just had to react and knock it directly in. And that's the opportunistic kind of mentality that a lot of the players have to have now, is being able to react to not necessarily mistakes from the other team, but just them being in the wrong place at the wrong time. It's not bad that they were there. It's just bad that they got hit by the ball, right? Like it's a weird situation to be in, and Classics managed to capitalize on it.
Yeah, exactly. And then that's exactly what it comes down to. You see a lot of plays like that where you can't say, oh, that player just messed up. No, they really didn't. They just, you know, got caught up in trying to stop an attack or something like that. And it's just a matter of exploiting those opportunities, and the best teams in the world are able to do so.
Right, that's where a lot of the top level goals end up coming from anyway. You're not going to outright, like Flipside versus Swarm, you're not going to outright beat each other all the time. You're going to put them in a less than opportunistic position like that. Look at Sad. With that is sniper level accuracy. Sniper tactics, hashtag sniper tactics, kind of knocking it directly over top of Waze, knowing that was the back end of his car. He would have had to have been ahead of Sad to actually knock that thing in. With Kronovi not in the game today, I'm curious to see how far in the losers bracket they end up making it. I can't imagine Titanium Ricochet gets outright eliminated here easily. I would imagine this going at least 4 games. But I'm curious to see what happens with iBUYPOWER in their first tournament appearance since they've announced their sponsorship.
Yeah, you know, this is their first time under the iBUYPOWER Cosmic moniker, so a big moment for them to really shine here. Oh, and a nice touch there. Gibbs, great follow-up. That's some smart team play there, just being in the right place at the right time to pick up these kinds of rebounds. You could see Sad had a good moment. Classic came in there with a critical stop, but if you can't respond to every rebound quickly enough, it's going to be picked apart.
And you'll notice that Gibbs was actually following directly behind Sad, knowing that if Sad just barely missed the ball, it would still be there for him, so he'd be able to keep it in the offensive zone. Once he noticed that Sad touched it, he redirected to it right in front of the net to be able to catch any rebounds, which is what he was able to do and actually score. But it looks like Waze 1 just completely beats him here. That is, he pushes it down, like it just gets knocked all the way down the field. Sad can't get there, just barely in front of the ball, didn't react quite the right way, and that's one of those where you have to be in the exact perfect position to actually capitalize, and Waze was there and was able to knock it directly in.
Yeah, great response there by Titanium Ricochet to kind of close this gap up, make this series a little more interesting. And one thing I certainly did want to say before the goal series started is that I think for Cosmic, the big thing...
Again, you're not allowed to say anything, Shalfus. And we're going to keep scoring every time you try to say anything. Sad Jr. again, coming in over the top. And just, this is, again, another one of those, knowing where the ball was coming and being able to redirect it, direct it to the net. That time he was watching the net, he just knew where the ball was coming from. And there's some interesting kickoff tactics happening today, but it looks like we're in a potentially threatening position again, but probably not. So, Shalfus, what is it that you were trying to say before they decide to score another goal again?
Well, I'm going to wait until the ball gets cleared out a little bit. Okay, but I think for Cosmic, the big thing that they are going to... Stop. The big thing that they're going to need to... that we're going to really need to see from them to know exactly how they're going to fare in the rest of this tournament is how they perform throughout the rest of this game. They need to figure out the proper team dynamic. That's all it comes down to. Because they can't just take out Cronovi and stick Kyle Mass in there and expect the same results. You know, they wouldn't be in the lower bracket if that were the case. They've yet to play a Rocket Royale tournament as the usual IBP Cosmic. You know, they haven't had that full team in here yet, or at least in the
regular normal format, right? In the Gauntlet tournament, the Gauntlet tournament, they made it all the way to the finals, and I cannot actually for the life of me remember if they won it or not. That was so long ago. Okay, yeah, no, Flipside did win, but Cosmic made it to the finals, right? Like they just placed extremely high, made it immediately to the finals, got their bye all the way through. And granted, Flipside actually ended up winning, but ever since then, when we've been in this normal double elimination winners and losers bracket setup, it's never been, you know, Cronovi Senpai, Gibbs Senpai, Sad Jr. also probably Senpai. Like, it's never been all three of them in the same match. So it's actually pretty crazy that they've been as successful as they've been. So.
Yeah, I mean, they did really well last week, and that was after a previous week running with Kyle Mass in the Gibbs role, where they had to kind of figure out their roles and figure out how they wanted to do it. But right now, they're looking a lot better.
What a save by Waze, by the way. That was just, he was there and decided to hit it a couple times. So that's actually game for Cosmic, iBUYPOWER Cosmic. Yeah. And I want to say that this is just going to continue. So this is all NA, right? We're not switching servers at any point.
Yeah.
I want to say that this is actually going to be, I'm not going to say an outright sweep, but I think the games are going to be relatively close like this, but I think it might be 3 games. 3 games for Cosmic, because it looks like Titanium Ricochet is just behind slightly.
At least to start.
Right.
Yeah, I mean, it certainly feels that way, at least to start here. They're coming off, they're still looking really good, but it seems like Cosmic is starting to find that thing. And, you know, they're figuring out that setup, how they're going to approach this game, what the proper roles are going to be. And it might even be just, you know, having a completely different approach to how they do things. But once they figure that all out, and figure out exactly who they are and where they're going to be with this team lineup, then yeah, they're going to be pretty daunting, because individually, the skill is there. All 3 of these players on IBP Cosmic are ridiculously skilled. You know, there's no denying that. So they've got enough to do whatever team dynamic they feel works. They just got to figure that out. And I think they're starting to do that here in this series, which could be really good for them going forward. I don't know how far they're going to get, but it's looking better.
Right.
Than they did against their series against ...
Twitch chat actually makes a good point. I didn't catch the name of the commenter, but someone did mention that since Rocket Royale started, it hasn't really been a full Flipside Tactics either. The only counterpoint to that I have is that the members of Flipside Tactics over their standard 3-man rotation have been at least associated with Flipside for a very long time.
Yeah, I mean, they did have ELMP from Supersonic Avengers, who filled in for Mike Rules while he was away.
What a shot from Sad. Yeah. We're just watching that, and it just decided it was just going to be a fantastic shot. So we're going to look at it from the goalie's perspective with Waze, and Sad just hits it, and it's hot, just high enough to eke in under the crossbar. If you notice, Sad actually hit that upside down, which was pretty crazy.
You know, whatever angle you got to take. Just approach it however you must.
Yeah, just upside down, backwards. Not even in a car. The new DLC is just a guy flying through all over the place. Yeah,
just a guy running around.
Yeah, on all 4s like a bear.
It's a new vehicle. Yeah, I mean that's pretty standard fare for Cosmic, getting some nice range shots, and this is a big opportunity though. Oh, That was, I was going to say, that was a pretty big opportunity for Titanium Ricochet. Wide open net, but there's Sad Jr. Finds the great opportunity. You can see the ball gets cleared out here. Kyle Mass makes a little bit of contact, gets into an open spot, and there is Sad like a freaking rocket. 126 kilometers per hour. Just drilled that ball into there.
I apologize. I completely gapped on changing the camera on that one. That is my fault. That is my... give me a dance game for the camera work. That is entirely my fault. So I apologize for that shot just completely going by the wayside. But no, that was actually a really good shot by Sad. I saw it originally, but didn't change off of Gibbs. So that's my fault. But, so no, we have Cosmic coming out really fast again in this game. So we have 3 minutes left, 2-0 Cosmic. And it looks like Titanium Ricochet is doing what I thought they were going to do. They're actually... They're out of sync. They're not playing against a team of 3 in Cosmic that is significantly better than any other team of 3 that we can get. Yeah, they're playing just a little bit out of sync, and Kyle Mass rolling it up over the edge. Let's take a look at that a little bit closer.
A little bit of that putt-putt golf shot there. Nice and low. Has to fight it past Waze 1 there, but he's in a good spot to prevent the clear.
And he knew he had to jump to block it against Waze. And so yeah, it's a best of 5 we have going on here. So it's 1 to Cosmic. Cosmic wins this one. It looks like they're in a position where Titanium's going to have to kind of collect themselves after this match is over to kind of, hey, what did we do wrong that we got down by 3 goals just under halfway through the match? Jump over to Waze 1 and see how they're looking in the offensive zone here.
Yeah, we're starting to see a little bit of mistakes happening. You know, there was a good opportunity there just a few moments ago by Waze 1 to get a pretty good shot on goal, and he just kind of whiffed on it. So I don't know if it's the pressure that's starting to shift, if the morale is starting to shift. One of the things that I talked about the past couple weeks alongside James Bott were the 2 big M's, which are factors that every team has to deal with in any tournament they play in to try and get a little bit of consistency, and that's morale and momentum. And if you start falling behind on either one of those, it can be very hard to come back and really set something up. But look at this play by Cosmic Aftershock.
Oh my God.
IBP Cosmic. I'm sorry.
I wasn't sure exactly where that was going to bounce, but Sad was in the air just barely. Classic's just underneath, and the ball does go in immediately after. That was, again, I mentioned it earlier, dogfighting. As everyone's getting more comfortable with everyone else's play styles, you're going to see a lot more, hey, I know he's going up for that. I have to beat him there. And that seems to be one of those situations, and Sad was just a little bit taller and knocked it in up over top of Classics.
Yeah, the whole play there, I mean, the replay really doesn't show how that whole play developed, but it was just, like, I was watching Cosmic just kind of set the shot up, keep the pressure on the net, and that whole thing just really developed over a pretty long period of time.
What a shot by Sad!
Like I said, Sad Jr., he's stepping up into that Kronovi role, just making these beautiful strikes and picking up so many goals. Look at that.
He knew 2 things. He knew, A, that he had to turn that way to hit it that direction, but B, that he needed to get speed on it. So he did that forward dodge. Being able to process all of that in the short period of time, that's actually insane to me. That he was able to put all of that together. I can't even put the words together to describe how quick thinking he had to be, and I have all the time in the world to do it. But look at Classics fighting Gibbs. They just punching Gibbs in the car with the ball like 6 times. Just punch.
That's a well fought.
There we go. All right, there we go.
That was just like aggressive scrim in front of the net.
Yeah,
fist fighting for the goal. I mean, that's about as physical as it really gets when you're trying to put a goal in.
Tug of war game mode confirmed. Yeah, for sure.
Exactly.
That was insane.
They were just about a few seconds away from getting out of the cars and getting into a fist fight in the middle of the pitch. So, I mean, that was exactly, like, you usually don't see goals like that. Usually the goals are from distance or they sneak it in. It's not like they come up there and just start fighting it.
And it looked like Gibbs just didn't react because he didn't want to jump and let the ball go under him or anything. And Gibbs, just getting it back. Just, hey, sorry I just sat in front of the net last time while Classics pushed it over me. Let me just go ahead and score this one off of your pass there, Kyle. Right over top of Waze 1.
Yeah, extended that lead back to 5 goals. But, yeah, I think you're right. He wanted to be really careful with how he committed to that shot because you usually don't scrim like that right in front of the net. And the last thing he wanted to do was commit one way and have it burn the other way. But those are those are hard, and you know, I don't think necessarily that that's going to become like a new meta or anything. Is doing that fist fight style script,
just dribbling the ball in front of the net and hoping no one else takes it away from you. Yeah, there's no way that makes its way into a meta.
No, that's really an opportunistic thing, but that can be very hard to deal with, honestly. And there's Gibbs again.
Sad just flailed around for a while trying to touch it, but no, that was actually a Gibbs shot.
Yeah,
wasn't even a Gibbs shot.
Oh, there he is. Gibbs kind of sneaks in there underneath and puts it in there. Well, with 3 seconds to go, we are in the Brazil, and it's going to be on Titanium Ricochet to prevent it. Or on Cosmic.
Oh! With no seconds left, they go Brazil +1.
Kyle Mass breaks the Brazil with a very nice looking goal, by the way. Picks it up off the ball.
There we go.
Hard redirect.
Brazil +1.
Well, there you have it. So 8-1 in a dominating Game 2 Cosmic. IBP Cosmic. iBUYPOWER Cosmic. It's going to take me a while to get used to that. This has been like the team here in Rocket League since I even got involved. So I got to get in the habit of calling them, at least referring to them as Cosmic is okay, because that is technically their name. Just the Aftershock part is gone. So I got to remember that. But yeah, IBP Cosmic is looking kind of where I expected them to look. They're starting to find their rhythm. And I think if they played the way they're playing here in the previous series, we wouldn't be watching them in the lower bracket. So I think that's all it comes down to right now.
Is that a comfortability thing with Kyle being there, with the lack of Kronovi? Like maybe they thought Kronovi was good. Like I don't know what the demo from Sad Jr. just BMing all over Classics. That was crazy. Did they not know Kronovi wasn't going to be here? Did they not have the scrim time that they needed with Mask? Like, there's a couple things at play here that a series would probably remedy most times, and it looks like they're getting back to form. No one, I don't think anybody involved with Rocket Royale at least has any clue really where Kronovi is. But
yeah, I don't know. I don't know where Kronovi's going right now. But I mean, I don't know how much prep time they had with Kyle in that role. I know they've had a lot of play time with Kyle on the team, but that's when Gibbs wasn't there.
Right.
So it changes up the whole dynamic of the team a bit when your primary striker isn't playing. So now you have to rely on Sad Jr. to kind of fill that role, who is a very effective striker, like we saw in that last game, who can get the job done. It's just a matter of Sad Jr. is an amazing player. He is probably one of the best in Rocket League, but he's not Kronovi. And that's a big factor when you don't have this key component to your team. So that's why I think it took them so long to figure out what they were going to do, because they didn't have that key component, so they needed to figure out, okay, we don't have Kronovi, so what's our tactic going to be? What's our approach going to be? Who's going to fill what role and what approach? And I think they finally figured that out, and there's a good opportunity. Oh, and Kyle.
And everybody was there. I mean, Gibbs was keeping it in the zone. Kyle was there to actually take the shot. Sad was there if Kyle didn't hit it. I mean, I think Kronovi was even in this match for that particular shot. Like, everybody was there. I mean, everybody was there.
Everybody came in to be a part of that shot. But yeah, either way, I mean, right now, IVP Cosmic has figured it out. I feel like they definitely figured it out. I don't know how far this will take them. I really don't. Because once they start going up against teams that have their full complement, that have that really solid team dynamic, to be perfectly blunt, if they come up against Flipside Tactics at any point, and I assume that's really only going to happen in the finals, because I don't really see the full Flipside squad going down to the lower bracket. That's just my early prediction, I guess. But they start meeting teams like that, it's going to get a lot harder to have even a very solid complement of players here to really take it to that next level.
Yeah, I'm really curious to see, just from an overall Rocket League esports standpoint, I'm curious to see what an actual stable looks like. 3 people, versus any other competitive game right now, right? Except for StarCraft, because that's only one guy. But you have League of Legends, CSGO, Dota are all 5 people. Like, what's an actual staff look like? Is it just a team A, team B, so you can have 6 and scrim against yourselves all the time? and then you just pick 3 of them and play them in a tournament? Or like, I'm curious to see what the actual thing looks like going forward, because it seems right now like it's 3, 1 like standard alternate who may actually be on another team, and possibly another guy who you just know from high school or something. Like it seems to be this like weird mishmash.
Yeah, I mean, we're seeing a lot of different types of approaches to it. There's a few different teams, like Galaxy Esports and Interstellar, for example, who rock multiple teams, and they field multiple teams in a single tournament. So you've got teams that do that. They have a huge complement of players, and they may rotate players amongst different teams as they figure out, what formula works best. But they have a lot of players there. Then you've got some teams like Cosmic, who have a standard 3 that they roll with, and then they have an official 4th, their official sub, and that's Kyle right now. So some players have that alternate player. Then you got a team like Noble, for example, formerly Shazoo. They've got like 5 players.
Waze goal. That Waze goal. Yeah, he came from literally the other side of the field. Just go, no, just pass it to me. I got it. No, we're good. Yep, we're good. Like that's recognition that you need from a team at this level. They are pushing in. I mean, remember, Waze usually hangs out in the back end of the field all the time. Like he just puts a 10 up, hangs out right by the goal all the time, knowing that they had a break on their hands, and Waze pushing all the way through. Fantastic call on his part, as well as a fantastic call on the whole team's part to not drop the ball anywhere.
Yeah, it was a nice setup too by Moses, who kind of put the ball right against the wall beside the goal to kind of rebound it off, so that Waze 1 can get that shot.
Right.
But, yeah, this game is much closer than the previous one, obviously. We're coming down to the final 30 seconds, and it's still 1-1. So this could be a good chance.
Yeah, there's Waze with another shot just over the top of Kyle.
Yeah,
but
beautiful redirect. Look at this. Comes down all the way downfield, and there's just this little bit of contact, just enough, and Kyle can't react fast enough. That could be a game winner, really.
And again, that brings it to the. Or I originally mentioned, I think it's going to go to 4 games. This might be that game that Titanium takes, but does that give them that one of the 2 M's, that momentum that they need to maybe take another game and force a game 5 possibly?
It could definitely happen here. I don't know this version of Cosmic. I don't know. I've only really seen them play 2.5 games. So I don't know exactly if they've got enough to come back and take it in 4, or if they're going to have to go the stretch. I know Titanium Ricochet. We know how good they are. They've made it this far.
They're keeping it up. Now, we have 0 seconds here, and it looks like Gibbs is there.
Oh, and that's going to probably drop.
Waze is going to knock it? Nope. Okay, it does touch. Wow. Okay. All right. That was... when that happens as a caster, it's hard for me to, say things out loud while my brain is also like I'm actually having just heart attacks at the same time. Like I can't say words to do all of that. Sad's controller died, so we're gonna give them just a second. But
that's a good way to compete against Cosmic, is just wait for one of their controllers to die.
Yeah.
But Sad Jr. with the Yemen. That's that. I think that's the name of that play. When your controller dies, I think you just call that the Yemen.
Yeah, then the DeBoer is when you have to wait for 5 minutes to do something.
Yeah.
For sure.
But no, I mean this is interesting stuff because like I said, I wasn't really sure what to expect out of IBP Cosmic with this lineup, and I'm still really not. We've seen some excellent play out of them so far. The last game before this one, they just dominated. This game, they were kind of on the back foot a bit. So I think here, the momentum has shifted a bit to Titanium Ricochet. Could be enough to force a deciding game 5, or this could be kind of the fire that Cosmic needs to be like, all right, let's not delay the inevitable any further. Let's click things together a bit and come in and just take this series so we can move on. But, I'm just really interested to see really how they continue going forward here. And to be all, I don't know exactly what to expect. But I do know that they've got a very solid team here. And they're going to need to bring their A game to prevent this series from going all the way to the 5th deciding game. But apparently, I'm all alone. But it's all right. We've got good stuff.
Oh no, you are. I had things were muted. Everything was muted. I actually was trying to jump to. I was trying to jump to the stay tuned screen. I noticed that there were a few people in the Twitch chat that were complaining about motion blur, and I have a feeling that if I turn it off, there are not going to be a pro motion blur kind of section of the Twitch chat that's going to freak out that there's no motion blur. So let's try to keep everyone as happy and as motion sick free as possible. So I went ahead and kicked off motion blur. I don't know why I muted my microphone to do that. It's not as if the options menu is voice activated or anything, but still.
You know, you open up the options menu, it goes, options!
Xbox options. Oh wait, this is a PS4 game. So we are currently in the process of waiting. It requires a lot of work, but I'm also going to bring back the Rocket League soundtrack because that is more exciting than just hearing people talking. Oh, don't give me a Dan's game for no motion blur. People don't care about it that much. Hashtag we want motion blur.
Hashtag motion blur. Hey, if you want to get a hashtag going, can I just say, can I recommend those of you who have Twitter, those of you who use Twitter, let's get hashtag Rocket Royale going. Huh? How about that? No, not hashtag Sploonshout. It's hashtag Rocket Royale. That's the hashtag we care about. So if you got Twitter, get your friends here, get your family here. Tell your grandma that there are Rocket League teams playing competitive Rocket League. Go to Twitter, tweet it out. Make sure you include a link here, twitch.tv/Rocket League Central, all one word. You know where it is. It's in your browser. It's right there. Rocket Royale. Not Rocket Royal. Rocket Royale. Well, either way. Speaking of Rocket Royale.
Hey, the game is starting. Everyone, we're playing video games. Let's go. All right, so Kyle Mask, he's a player on iBUYPOWER Cosmic this week. So we're going to look at him. Sorry, that started really suddenly, and nobody told me anything was happening. So, all right.
Game
a little
on.
bit. Still paying attention to the man behind the curtain. The Sad Jr. out the gate with the goal.
Wait a minute. Did he just sort of back up into that ball? I think he just sort of backed up into that ball. Like,
Yeah, there we go. All right.
Got it.
Yeah, all right.
That's a good way to start. We're almost 15 seconds in, and Kyle and Sad Jr. already with just a ridiculous-looking goal here for iBUYPOWER Cosmic.
So Titanium has got to not let Sad Jr. score backwards goals on them because they cannot afford to drop this game.
Okay, I'm no Rocket League coach, but I am going to say they should also worry about the forward-facing goals, too.
That's true, yeah. If Cosmic scores more goals than Titanium, that means that Titanium loses this game and has to no longer play in this tournament because it's the loser's bracket. That's at least how the rules
John
work.
Madden level of commentary right there, my friend. Well done.
Touchdowns. Football. All right.
You basically said if they win, then if their opponents win, then they lose.
If they have more goals, than the other team, they win the game. So
that is a good factor to keep in mind. So prevent the goals, win the game, don't lose the tournament. But yeah, this is a lower bracket matchup. So you lose this series and you're done. Your tournament round is over. I think a lot of people are hoping that Cosmic holds it out. We'll move on to the next round. I'm sure Titanium Ricochet is not a part of that group. They're hoping that they will pull this back.
Oh, Gibbs, just a little bit of a high shot. Kyle Mask coming in, being blocked, though, by, I believe, Waze 1. And here comes Sad from why was he all the way back there, but at least he was back there, able to push it back up. And it looks like Cosmic is playing very fast. And that's a change from what's happened in the last series from what we saw, as well as what was happening early in this series. Can't tell quite yet if it's good or bad. Granted, it got them an early goal.
Yeah, you know, sometimes just bringing that speed and that aggression right off the bat can kind of throw your opponents off a little. Give them something to kind of have to fight for very early and give them, you know, prevent them that time to adjust and account for it. And that was a risky clear attempt. It perfectly centered the ball. But fortunately, Cosmic was able to get to it before Titanium Ricochet did. But, I mean, right now, it's going to that constant pressure sort of thing. And that's what Cosmic's doing.
And there's a level of, like, I don't know what the actual word for it would be, but maybe compensation. Sad Jr. is playing out of his mind. And he's kind of going unnoticed Here's Classics with the goal. Let's actually see what happened here. It looks like Way's pushing it in. Sad not quite being able to react to the ball in its current position. So he actually backed back out, which is not a bad choice. Classics comes in with the goal. But overall in this series, let's take a look at Sad. Sad has been low-key playing out of his mind. Like, he is just in the sky all the time, setting Kyle Mask up, taking the shots on himself, and I can't remember. I wish I would be keeping track of who was getting MVPs, but I think on both of the wins by Cosmic in this series, it was Sad who was the MVP, just because of how all over the place he is. I mean, if we're just watching him now, we have... Oh, he's literally everywhere. He's all the time. He's just wherever the ball is. Sad Jr.'s there, trying to get it closer to the net, and there's Classics with a really good save, and Classics is trying to match him. Now, the only downside to that is I don't think Classics has the mechanics that Sad does. So when Classics tries to play out of his pants, Sad's going to tend to outplay him overall. You see a lot of that. That was a very, very close shot. And Waze is actually keeping it centered. It looks like Moses is going to push it. Sad with another save.
Blinky ball. Got to get it out of there.
Oh, there we go. There's Moses with the knock-in. So
that was a bad play there by Cosmic. Just could not clear it out. Like, Gibbs misses, Sad misses, and Moses is just able to do a light little touch, floats it in. Yeah, they just couldn't get to it in time, and that was a big mistake there, which allowed that second goal. And Titanium Ricochet starting the comeback, starting to build this up, ride that momentum from that last game, and hopefully bring this to a deciding Game 5. I'm sure that's exactly what they want and all their fans want.
Yeah, and Titanium Ricochet is, again, they're not the most popular team on the block because they're not the oldest team on the block, right? They've been around recently, but from everything I'm hearing, everyone that's watched them play likes their style. They like the players on the team. Classics with a really nice shot. It looked like it was Kyle who knocked it back out. I'm interested to see what Titanium does over time. I mean, they're still relatively new in the competitive scene, so I'm really curious to see how they play going forward. If they have any roster changes coming up, I mean, they seem to play very well together, but if they have a sub who may end up being maybe a better midfielder or a better defensive player for them, again, be in that NA style of like having assigned roles, but there's a lot of there's a lot of hype around Titanium Ricochet.
Yeah, and speaking of Titanium Ricochet, I mean, as far as this game has gone so far, they have definitely been playing on that offensive side of the ball far better in this game. The pressure has been almost consistent as far as that ball being on the blue side of the pitch. They're making Cosmic have to do a lot of defensive play, spend most of their time trying to stop shots, clear shots. And despite what Sad Jr. has been doing, and I think he's been upping his game because he's falling in to that role that Kronovi generally had, you know, he is playing phenomenally, but despite that, it is looking really good for Titanium Ricochet. And there we go.
Titanium Ricochet takes another game. So that's 2-2. 2-2. We are wearing a tutu in this series.
But more importantly than wearing a tutu, we're going to a deciding Game 5 here in the lower bracket. So this is some legit hype. Loser of this game is done.
Goes home. Even though they're all playing from their house, the loser of this game goes home.
Yes, they have to go to a new home. They're kicked out of their home. No, well, all right, I don't know that. I guess it depends on how seriously the family takes Rocket League. I don't want to judge anybody, but either way, you know, the loser of this game is done. They are out of the tournament. Their time in Rocket Royale here for Week 3 is over, and they are going to be likely forced to requalify. Well, they will definitely be forced to requalify the next time we play Rocket Royale. But for now, it's just interesting to see, you know, that's a big play right there.
Classic's out of the gate again. And he seems to, if it's the first 20 Slam Jam Cam Fam, Classic says, he seems to play downhill for the first 15 seconds of a match. Like, that is just his game is, you know what, if we're going to be up or down a goal, let's go for it in the first 15 seconds. And it seems like it's worked out for him in the last 2 games at least, and won them last game, in fact. Keep in mind, again, this is a Game 5, and like you said yourself, Shalfis, someone goes home. Someone stops being in Rocket Royale if they lose this.
Yeah, this is all it comes down to. So if you've got anything left to bring, I mean, this is where you got to bring it. So, you know, other than that showing in Game 2 of this series, Cosmic has definitely... I thought they had figured it out. I thought they had found their groove, and maybe they have, but they haven't been able to do it well enough to shut down Titanium Ricochet. So this could be a big break for Titanium Ricochet. They could get past Cosmic here, and really, if Cosmic goes home right away, that could be a big change. Not only to, I mean, it's going to be a big factor anyway, but you're also going to have to look at the fact of not only will they have to requalify, but they're also going to have their position on the power rankings affected because they dropped so far. They've been kind of that NA team for a very long time, and they drop here, and that could affect their position. So,
well, it does make it seem as if it's a changing of the guard, right? Like I mentioned it earlier in the stream. There is a level of newness to this second wave of competitive Rocket League that I think if Cosmic drops a little bit in the power rankings, it's not a huge deal. Granted, it is for Cosmic and the fans, but that just means that there's definitely some new people coming in, for sure.
And right now, the defensive play out of Titanium Ricochet is just phenomenal. I mean, there are so many chances that are getting put on net by Cosmic that are all getting just turned aside, stopped in the net, stopped even before they develop. But we are getting to that point where if they can't turn it around, then something's going to go in. Because right now they're just letting things happen. And there's a big shot.
Classics with the save. But Kyle Mask is going to be there to knock it back in. Just a little bit off center. Moses and Waves were both there to knock that away if anything did develop. And there's Gibbs. Kind of pushing it off to the side.
Yeah, well, thought it was going to be a little bit of an opening there for Titanium Ricochet. But no, they are going to be turned around yet again. And here comes Cosmic trying to get this equalizer. Because if they don't get the equalizer here, and we get another goal,
that's very close.
Ricochet, yeah, that was dangerously close. Just as I was saying that, one more, and that's going to be a bit of insurance that could carry them into the next round. Big opening there. Fortunately, Kyle was the first one to make contact. This is a good center. Oh, and Classics had a great opening, but it went just too far left.
And I don't necessarily think he unintentionally did that. It seems as if Gibbs was already there and Classics knew he had to play around it and was taking his chances shooting just a little bit wide. So I don't necessarily think he was inaccurate. I just think it was a situational thing. But now we have Kyle Mask, who is, I mean, there's a level of complexity to the way that Mask is playing that I think is going a little bit underappreciated. He's trying to play two different roles, right? He's trying to keep himself in a forward role as well as in a set role, but it seems to be taking its toll, especially against Titanium, where you have Classics and Waves who are just kind of all over the place.
Yeah, it's a little bit of that adjustment, trying to figure out kind of the style they want to approach to this. You know, I talk a lot about how players have to fit certain roles.
Oh, what a save. I don't know if that was going in, but Sad tried really hard to make sure it didn't. And that shot's going to be really close. Oh, man.
He stopped there by Sad Jr., but it was actually not too bad because he put it into the corner, which is a good place to put it. If you're going to put it anywhere, get it in the corner, get it away from being centered in a dangerous position. But as it stands right now, IBP Cosmic is running out of time.
They have 40 seconds left.
Here, Waves.
That very well could be the deciding goal. Because if Cosmic's got to score 2 goals in 37 seconds, this could be MLG a few weeks ago all over again, going out in that first round.
Yeah, Cosmic hasn't been able to score in 4 minutes and 23 seconds. I don't know if they're going to have enough to score 2 in 37 seconds. But here, Kyle Mass tries to get one past. Good pickup by Sad.
Very quickly. So we have a game again. 30 seconds for them to score again. Off of Sad kind of... There's a level of accuracy that Sad Jr. has that is just kind of astounding.
Yeah, he's good at those range shots. You know, put some distance on it, and he's got good precision to know where to stick it. But right now, here comes. This could be the equalizer. Oh, Kyle, I don't know what he did there, but he didn't, follow through on that. He could have been in a good position to just...
Setting it up for Gibbs. It looks like Sad Jr. is going to be there for it. Classics is still there.
Kyle takes to the sky.
Mask is passing. Sad. Oh, it's just a little bit too high. Is anyone there to put it back in? No. Okay. All right. I got way too excited for not a whole lot. All right, sure. Whoa! Kyle Mask. Okay, I was not even on that. What?
Kyle gets the tying goal here. Look at this. Waze with a good stop, but Kyle picks it up and just sends it.
Oh my goodness.
Tying goal, 4 seconds. Where did they come from? What is this? What was Cosmic doing all game long that now they've suddenly turned on the switch?
So it looks like we're going to have an overtime. It looks like Sad just confirmed that. Kyle Mask being Captain Clutch again.
Critical goal there. Here comes Moses, though. Trying to part the sea. That is IBD.
Waze again. It's going to go in if Sad isn't there, and he knocks it away.
Huge stop there by Sad Jr. We're going the other way. Distance shot there by Kyle. Sad, good redirect in there.
Sad Jr. with the goal, bringing Cosmic to at least round 2 of the losers bracket. They are there.
Look at this.
Oh, man. And that is that leaning forward, not being afraid of much of anything that Cosmic has. And, oh, man,
You remember that thing I said about momentum? That is momentum. That is Cosmic Aftershock scoring that late goal in Game 5 that rode to 2 more unanswered goals through overtime, through to the next round. That's the kind of play that I need to see from Cosmic going forward, and ultimately to see what their future in this tournament's going to be like.